If you want to see a rainbow, you're going to have to wait until it rains. If you want to taste the rainbow, then grab yourself some Skittles. Not a sponsor, by the way. But if you want to cast a rainbow, you use Rainbolt in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. What's up, YouTube? Zero here. And today, I have a legendary spell review of the Rainbolt in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. In this video, I'll go through the overview of the Rainbolt that you're seeing in this video. Then I'll get into some more gameplay and I'll talk about the pluses and minuses of utilizing the Rainbolt. Then I'll get into where you can go to grind for the Rainbolt. Then at the end of the video, I'll get into Fate or Hate. Is the Rainbolt fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory? Or are you going to hate it and should you trash it immediately? Before I get into it, I do want to say if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Tiny Tina's Wonderlands content. I do a bunch of other RPGs and a lot are coming up in the fall, so don't miss those. Make sure you hit that sub so you don't miss any RPG content. Without further ado, let's talk about the Rainbolt. So mine's chaotic. This is a Word Weaver spell. Of course, it's legendary. The damage is at 244. The crit chance, 0%. Cooldown's at 14. Mine deals dark magic damage and has a 6% chance. Mine's enchanted on spellcast, increase gun damage by 30% for 10 seconds. Death by 1,000 colors, of course, we have a rainbow. Mine's plus 45% spell damage, plus 26% spell status effect damage, minus 10% spell cooldown, of course, restores health because it's dark magic damage. Repeated casting, hold and cast repeatedly, and on hit, this applies a random status effect to the target. So that is the bread and butter of the Rainbolt. This is going to apply a random status effect to a target. Now, of course, because it's a Word Weaver, you have to hold to repeatedly cast. I'm going to toss that up to a negative of this spell. I don't like holding in the spell button as I'm casting in the higher chaoses. I prefer just the simple cast and release. It makes it a lot easier when you're running around on the higher chaoses facing hordes of enemies. So the fact that you have to hold it in to constantly cast your spell is a drawback for the Rainbolt. Now, what's nice is that the Rainbolt can come in any damage type. So depending upon which Rainbolt you could get dark magic damage like mine, you could get frost, you could get poison, you can get whichever one you want. So you can continually grind for the Rainbolt until you get the one that you want if you want to equip the Rainbolt. What else is kind of cool and it's pretty fun to use is the fact that you can apply, or you do apply, a random status effect. So you're always going to apply a status effect on an enemy. It may not necessarily be the one that you want, but you are going to be applying a status effect. So you can deal that damage over time on your enemies. Of course, always nice dealing extra damage to enemies. The cooldown isn't too bad, but it's not great. 14 seconds is pretty slow when we're talking about spells, so I'm going to chalk that up to a negative of the spell as well. Now, if you want to grind for this spell, head over to Chums with the first DLC for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and Chums is going to have a chance to drop it, an increased chance to drop it. So if you're looking for the Rainbolt, that is a place to go. So now let's talk about Fate or Hate. That's what we're all looking for. Is the Rainbolt fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory, or should you trash it immediately? The Rainbolt was fun to use and it's nice to apply status effects. Of course, damage over time is always going to be great when talking about trying to whittle down enemies' health as quickly as possible. Applying status effects are great to do that. However, unfortunately, you can't choose the status effect you're applying. It is applying a random status effect. So it could coincide with your build very well, or it may not coincide with your build at all. On top of that, you have to hold to cast, which can disrupt your shooting. Of course, you can't aim down the sight while you're casting, or it could be very hard. But you can't do that. So now you're going to disrupt your shooting in order to cast your spell. You can still hip fire, but it takes away from the flow of what you're trying to do. I prefer just the simple cast and release spells. Now, of course, like I said earlier, applying a random status effect may not coincide with your build. So while this is a fun spell to use, it has a slow cooldown and it just doesn't coincide with the build, so I'm going to hate it. But let me know in the comments section if you've used this and what you think of it. I'm not using it anymore, but I want to know if you are. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, peace.